Hello, back on YouTube. I've got a new toy as well. So I bought one of these Osmo gimbal things and it is game changing, to be fair, as a content creator. It's so handy, so small. It follows me around the kitchen. I love this feature. I keep dancing whenever I'm making content. But I thought I would get back up and running with a YouTube channel this weekend because I am going to visit Kalamata. So heading over to the Peloponnese, to the olive country of Greece. And yeah, I haven't posted on the channel for a bit and thought I'd give a bit of an update and show a few bits. So the aim of this video is to get reintroduced to doing YouTube and get it up and running. I'm going to talk you through my experience of owning a Whoop band so far. I'm going to go to a new gym, obviously in Kalamata. I've never been to Kalamata before and it's one of the places that I've really wanted to visit in Greece. So I'm going to go to what looks like to be a pretty good gym. And I thought to give it a bit of a fitness twist, I'll talk you through my thought process when I go into a gym where I don't know what equipment they've got. And the sort of like the way that I'd structure a session regardless of the gym that I'm in, so that you can kind of use that as a framework whenever you walk into a gym that you've never trained in before and you want a bit of something to work with. So I'll go over that. I'll show you the gym. I'll be doing my weekly 5K run on Sunday, which I've now got to 24 minutes, 20 seconds, which I'm pretty bloody chuffed with. I'll obviously show you Kalamata. I'll give you a bit of an update on my goals. I'll give you a bit of an update on where I got to last year with my photo shoots and my physique. And I'll let you know where my head's at for 2026 and what you can expect on the YouTube channel. So I'm just kicking off the day, as always, with a serving of electrolytes. So it's just gone 7 a.m. I am actually working today, but I am traveling to Kalamata, so I'm working on the way. So I'm going to go for my usual walk, get my steps in, because the weather forecast, believe it or not, is going to be absolutely horrendous. So I'm going to get my steps in this morning whilst the weather isn't too bad. But yeah, the weather forecast for Kalamata is actually pretty awful. Thunderstorms, flash floods, gale force winds. So it might just be a lot of me sat in cafes. Although, to be fair, one of the main reasons that I'm going to Kalamata is to eat fresh Kalamata olives from Kalamata. So there probably will be a lot of food inside anyway. And I'll probably give you a rundown on the general habits that I'm putting in place with my nutrition to go and enjoy some good meals in Kalamata without coming back fatter. So it's all coming. So stay tuned and I'm going to catch you over the next few days. Forgot to take a video of me doing the obligatory shake the bottle thing that everyone does in fitness content. So shake the bottle. Not that you need to have this image in your head of what things look like for me, but right, so I've arrived in Kalamata and it is absolutely hammering it down. Thankfully, for the last few hours, I've been indoors because I've had a few calls and a few check-ins to wrap up with clients for the week. But I am about to go and brace the wet because it's dinner time and I'm hungry. I've actually only had, as you've seen, some yogurt and berries all day and some chicken because I've got to get that protein in. No, because I know Kalamata is obviously well known for its olives, but it's meant to be one of the nicest places that you can eat out in Greece. So I kind of going to prioritize protein during the day and just save carbs and fats for the evening so I can go and enjoy the food that Kalamata has to offer. So I'm quite excited for dinner tonight. I'm going to go for a walk down the seafront and get wet in the rain. I don't know if I'll take the gimbal because it is really wet, like hammering it down. So I'm here for 4 days and I'll probably take the gimbal out on one of the drier days because I think on Saturday it's going to be decent weather and I don't want to get it wet and I don't really want to take a bag with me either because it's that bad. I'll show you outside in a second. I'll show you around the Airbnb as well. But yeah, I'm here. All right, let's go for a tour of the Airbnb. It's quite a strong Airbnb actually. So nice bed, nice little wooden frame around the bed, kitchen, solid. Obviously I've made a mess because I've built my office and I've got my supplements, but nice little kitchen for sure. Bathroom. Where's the light? There we go. Nothing really spectacular going on in the bathroom, but overall, a nice little Airbnb for the next 4 days. Good bed, got a balcony, and we've got a kitchen. But yeah, I'll show you the weather so you know I'm not being dramatic. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't actually look too bad now, but certainly not the Mediterranean paradise that I was hoping it would be when I came to Kalamata. But thankfully the forecast has improved for Saturday and probably the first half of tomorrow as well. So I will get to see it when it's looking blue and bright. But anyway, I'm gonna get changed and I'm gonna go out for dinner.
Near zero. Show me. Banana.
Good morning. So I'm going to speak quietly because the walls are quite thin in these apartments, as I learned last night. I won't say any more on that. Although maybe I should speak loudly to get my payback. Anyway, had a lovely dinner last night. So I went for a walk and I was walking towards a restaurant that I had in mind, but it was just, the weather was just terrible. It was just pissing it down. And I just stumbled across a random little taverna, had a quick look on Google, and it had banging reviews. Proper, as you saw in the video, like proper just old school taverna vibes. There was no one in there. There was no one really out on the streets, to be honest. It was dead. So I popped in and there wasn't much on the menu, but one of the lovely ladies' traditional lemon beef with potatoes, some fresh tzatziki and some gorgeous bread. Honestly, the loaf of bread that I had was probably the nicest bread I've had in a long time. So that was good. That was enjoyable. I did actually order a Greek salad, but she forgot, and then her, I think, younger daughter came over to me because it looked like it was family around. She came over to me after and she said, sorry, she's old, she forgets things. So I didn't get my Greek salad, but yeah, I didn't have any olives either. That was the main thing that I've come here for, is to eat the olives. So there will be olives today and probably tomorrow. I'm thinking of doing like a get your guide, like guided tour around the olive trees and sampling olive products. It's just such an easy way to explore places, I find. And also when you're on your own, like it's quite a nice way to meet other people and have some social interaction as well. So I might do that tomorrow. But today is actually a working day. So I'm about to have my electrolytes and go out for a walk, get a coffee, and find a cafe to do some work in. So I've got quite a busy day actually. I've got a few client programs to write. I've got a couple of calls this afternoon. I've got a few bits that I need to get over the line, some content. Why can't I get into this? Oh, there we go. Thought I was defeated by the electrolytes then. And then I'm going to go to the gym. There's a really good gym near here, like proper old school bodybuilding gym with loads of good equipment I've seen online. So hopefully it's open. And I'm going to go there. And I'll probably talk you through, like I say, my thought processes around how I just walk into a gym and just do a program without writing anything down or, you know, just off the top of my head, because there is a sort of structure that I follow. So I'll talk you through that. And then out for dinner again. So I'm not necessarily like in a big deficit at the minute, but I am just pulling off a couple of kilos after Christmas. So didn't gain as much weight as I did last December, thankfully, but came back in a couple of kilos up after 3 weeks in Thailand and a week and a half back in the UK for Christmas. So 4.5 weeks really of not tracking food and just going with the flow. So it was a couple of kilos up. There was a lot of Guinness. I'm all right with that. So I'm just steadily kind of taking that off over January. So like today, where I know I'm going to go out for dinner, I just do my usual thing of just keeping my day really light by fasting until midday. So I won't eat anything this morning. And then when I do eat, it will be predominantly protein and fibre. So either a big bowl of yogurt with a load of fruit or some form of like lean protein with veg, something really simple. I'll probably have a few grams of carbs before I train, like a couple of bananas or some, rice cakes or something like that, and then go out for dinner. Really simple. It means I'll be a bit hungry at points through the day, but it's not going to kill me. Hunger's a normal human thing. So that's just a habit that I've really developed now. I think it's one of those ones that does help you maintain your weight really well. When you finish the fat loss phase, is just being able to think ahead about the fact that if you are going out for dinner, dates, out with your mates, whatever it is, and you've got a heavier evening that you would like to enjoy, just keeping the day as light as you can through fasting and protein and fibre is a good way to do it, because it's all about calorie balance. So I'm going to drink this. I'm not going to shake the bottle again. You've seen enough bottle shaking action for one video. And then I'm going to go into the town. I will take the gimbal actually, because it's not going to rain this morning. And the view looks like it's going to be banging for sunrise, because it's just a huge mountain range at the end of the town, and it's on the coast. And I think the sun comes up that way as well. So I'm excited for it. So I'm going to drink this and I'll see you down there. Honestly, there are areas in Greece that give me just Thailand vibes. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Okay, I am far less attractive than this background, but what a place. I've wanted to come to Kalamata since before I even moved to Greece. It was actually one of the places that I considered living. It's not quite as much going on as Athens, but I think for a bit it could be a really nice place to live. It's absolutely stunning, surrounded by mountains, nice little old town, and it's on the Peloponnese, and like over, where are we? Wait, I'm still getting the hang of using this bloody gimbal. Over there, on the other side of those mountains, is some of the most gorgeous places in Greece, I hear. I'm going to try and get out there tomorrow. But yeah, what a place. So the plan of action is to walk around, enjoy this glorious coffee that I actually got for free because the card machine wasn't working. Well, that was a lovely morning of work. Got quite a bit done. The surroundings that are in were nice as well. Nice little bistro, nice ambience, a few books, nice bit of music. I always feel really productive in places like that. Anyway, just come back to the Airbnb for my breakfast, brunch, lunch, whatever you want to call it, which is nothing exciting. It is 500 grams of 0% Greek yogurt with a load of fruit. Just an easy 50 grams of protein, bit of fibre, some nutrients and some carbs, ready to start fueling up for a training session. And as I said, keeping calories on the low side because I'm going out for dinner tonight. I just created quite a funny post, I think anyway, on social media about AI and the poor standards, try that again, and the poor standards of personal training in the industry at the minute. And I think there's a lot of coaches that are going to be out of a job soon enough, because they're not coaches, they're instructors and they are cowboys, basically. But I'm going to eat this first and then I'll tell you all about it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen it. If you don't, @In Shape with Ryan over on Instagram. Can you see this? Probably not. Oh, the gimbal's having a nightmare. Probably can't. Anyway, I just used the in-betweeners, the scene where he's like shouting at his penis because it's not working. I made a connection with ChatGPT and insecure personal trainers, because I keep seeing these posts on social media where PTs are like, AI is not going to take my job. My service does this, this and this. And a lot of it just screams insecurity to me, because a lot of personal trainers don't actually coach people. For me, coaching is like understanding communication skills, how to get the best out of someone, helping people through like life challenges and how to make it's kind of like the science of getting in shape, meeting the art of getting in shape. And coaching is like what bridges the gap. But communication skills, people skills, psychology, mindset, like it's massive to be able to get someone like in legit shape and go through a transformation. A lot of PTs don't possess that. So if a personal trainer is like proactively pushing themselves to get better, like I'm not targeting them with these kind of posts, but for the ones that like know that they just give out generic plans, right? So just a boring meal plan, chicken, rice and broccoli, the same like push-pull leg workout that they do, they just send to all their clients. It's a quick WhatsApp check-in. If you've not dropped weight, it's do more steps, eat less calories, that sort of thing. There's just no human kind of like support with it. It's just generic, copy and paste, quick fix kind of like nonsense. AI is going to take those jobs. It is, because you can get that from ChatGPT. So for me, it's like I've always prided my service on being like fully person-centered. So assessment phases, video support, phone calls, like video check-ins where I'm like looking at exercise technique, food diary reviews, navigating people around their challenges, motivating people, inspiring people, giving people a kick up the arse, supporting people. Like it is a very person-driven service. So I'm not worried. I know my programs are tailored, they're legit, and I know my service is way more than, this is sounding like one of those insecure posts now, isn't it? But I'm just saying why I'm in a position to be able to, I guess, shit on these PTs that just do a bad job. Yeah. And like my education, I went to university for 4 years and studied exercise science and nutrition. And I still, most years, I will try and do at least one conference or something that just, keeps me up to date with current topics. So like last year, at the back end of last year, I went to a conference on like GLP-1s and a few other things that are, hot topics in nutrition, let's say. But a lot of PTs just get their level 3 in like 8 weeks and then just stop getting better and then just start giving out crap and charging loads of money for it. And it does my head in. So yeah, I hope AI does take their jobs and gets them out of the industry, to be honest, because they don't deserve the money they get and they don't deserve the privilege of working with clients. Because name another job that has the same impact on your health as working with a PT that helps you with your nutrition, your training, your lifestyle, how you show up to social events, like all this stuff, right? There's way more to personal training than just the training on the gym floor if it's done like, as a holistic service. So you need to be good and you need to upskill and you need to make sure that you are putting the person first. And if you don't do that, then ChatGPT is coming for you. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. Otherwise, this vlog's going to end up being really long, but I'm going to get on with my second work block of the afternoon, which is client calls, a few late check-ins. If you're watching this and you check in late, check in on time, please. A few late check-ins to get back to, a few calls, a social media post and an email. And then I'm going to go train. Okay, work done for the day. Clients all checked in, pre-weekend messages sent out, calls all done, content all done. So now it's time to hit the gym. And I just thought I'd press record on this because you haven't taken the gym seriously until you've had to do this in a hotel or an Airbnb in order to take your pre-workout. Not that you need a pre-workout, but I do tend to, if I've got space in my bag when I'm traveling around, I do tend to take like my supplements like creatine and pre-workout and stuff, just because if I'm away for like a week and I'm in a good flow with training, I'd prefer to keep these things in. Obviously, if I'm on holiday, like I didn't take my creatine to Thailand in December, for example. But if I'm just on a working trip like this, I do tend to just bang them in my bag because they do have benefits. It's always a bit of a dodgy look when someone comes in to clean your Airbnb or your hotel and there's just white powder everywhere and a big rolled up piece of paper. But need them gains is what I would say to the police if they came to arrest me. Anyway, I'm going to stop chatting shit and I'm going to get to the gym. Okay, let's talk through this training session. So, really good gym, €5 for a day pass. So I was quite happy to find that, to be honest, because it had loads of good equipment. So the general structure that I follow when I'm doing an upper body session, and I don't know what equipment they've got. I mean, I checked it out previously and I saw that they had a lot, so it's pretty easy for me to do. But generally what I would do is when it's an upper session, I'm training chest, back and shoulders. I'll always start my chest training with an isolation exercise, like you can see what I'm doing here. So like a pec deck or a cable fly, or if a gym's really limited, maybe even a dumbbell fly. And I just find that doing isolation exercises before your compound movements helps with mind-muscle connection. I find it helps with less joint pains, especially as you're getting older, because yeah, it's just warming things up a little bit more. And then you see here, I then go into the heavier compound. And I do this sort of thing on any day, so I'll do like leg curls or leg extensions before I do squats, for example. But with the upper body session, I'll walk into a gym and I'll think, right, I'm gonna do an isolation exercise for 10 to 15 reps, 3 sets, and then I'll go into a compound for chest. Then when we get to the back training, which we'll see in a second, I'm then thinking of doing a horizontal pull and a vertical pull. So you get something overhead and then something towards your body. And then with shoulders, same again, I'll do an isolation into a press. The main reason I don't do isolation before going into the back movements is obviously like there's so many more muscles in the back that you'd have to do so many isolation exercises. So I don't tend to use that system when I'm training back. I just go straight in with a vertical pull and a horizontal pull. So here you can see I'm doing the pull down. On all of my movements, you'll see from an intensity perspective, like I'm always trying to get within sort of like 0 to 1 reps of my limit. There's a bit of an argument at the minute that you should be training like 3 to 4 reps away from failure to optimize recovery, but there's no fun in that, and I don't think it's true either. You can build a nice amount of muscle training to failure for sure, as long as you're eating enough protein. So there you see, I've gone from a horizontal pull into a vertical pull. I'll typically do anywhere between 8 and 12 reps on a lat pull down, and then 10 to 15 reps on the row. So just getting a mix of rep ranges, mix of angles, mix of movement patterns. But that's how I would structure an upper body session. So just to run you through it one more time, it's an isolation chest into a compound chest. It's a vertical pull into a horizontal pull, and then as you'll see in a second, for shoulders, it's an isolation into a compound. So doing a lateral raise, getting the delts nice and warm, getting the shoulder girdle nice and warm. It does mean that you then probably end up doing less load on your pressing movements, but that's not a bad thing. Like, you're still training to failure, and it's kind of like a bit of a pre-exhaustion. Again, it just saves your joints a little bit because you're not having to train quite as heavy to get to the level of failure that you want to get to stimulate muscle growth. There's a few reasons why this particular isolation into compound system can be beneficial. And then you'll see here, it's into the press. So that was my upper body session in Kalamata. As I say, the gym was fantastic for €5 a pop. If you need any help with training programming, writing gym plans, there's quite a lot of complexity to it, I would say. It's part of my job that I sort of enjoy the most, I would say, when it comes to the technical aspects, because I can get creative with like the physiology and that sort of thing, the biomechanics, the anatomy. So I enjoy it. So if you need any help with training plans, I like to think I'm pretty damn good at writing them. So drop me a message. All right, there we go. And then it was out for dinner, and the rest of the vlog will continue. So I will leave it there. I'll let you look at the gorgeous food that I ate. I think this meal was olives and a veal steak pasta, which was gorgeous. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. All right, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the vlog. Kalamata. So day 2 in Kalamata, and I've just hiked up to the castle, which is at the top of the old town, and the view is absolutely stunning. I'll walk down and show you. Where are we going? There we go. I need the facial lock on. Anyway, yeah, as you saw, bloody beautiful dinner last night. Kalamata olives in Kalamata. Are they fresher? Are they better? Yeah, I probably would say that they are that little bit nicer here. I guess it's like when you eat a pad thai in Thailand or a roast dinner in an English pub. It just has that kiss of freshness and authentic. I don't know, maybe it's a placebo effect, but it was gorgeous either way. And then I had veal stew with orzo pasta, which was gorgeous. And then I didn't have a dessert because I was very full. It was a pretty hearty meal, as you saw. So today's itinerary is gonna go train legs later. I probably won't film the session though, because I filmed a session yesterday and you've already heard me rabbit on about training for a bit this weekend, and I'm sure you're more interested in Kalamata than seeing me throw weights around. So okay, the view. It's going to take me a while to remember because I've not done YouTube for a bit, and also the screen on the gimbal needs flipping to get it the right orientation. Anyway, the view. It's a good job I remembered for the view, because I don't think vertical would have done it justice. Check out that. Gorgeous. Beautiful town. Okay, just while I'm strolling back down the stairs of the castle, I'm going to tell you this story because it's quite funny, and I've just told it on my Instagram stories. So this message from a client obviously has context to it. When I'm doing nutrition feedback, one of the ways that I do it is I have MyFitnessPal open on my desktop so that I can review like what clients are eating. I can review, like their structure of their meals and give them feedback, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't pay for MyFitnessPal because I've had it for years. So I get the good features like the barcode scanner and I don't have to pay for it. But that means when I'm on the desktop version, there's usually like a big advert banner at the top of the screen. And for some reason, over the last month, I've just been getting ambushed with adverts for, I guess, what is the equivalent of like the Greek and Summers. And they're pretty raunchy adverts. Like there's not much underwear going on. There's ass cheeks, there's cleavage. And look, it's obviously, it's nature, it's normal. But when I'm trying to break down a client's nutrition for them, and it's just there, big as well, like big banner at the top, it's quite off-putting, I must say. And obviously for clients that I've only just started with, it's not a great reflection of my browsing history. Although I can hand on heart say that I definitely don't look up that sort of thing. I don't think it'd look great on me, and I'm single, so I don't have anyone to buy that sort of thing for. Like usually the adverts are actually pretty bang on. It will show me like hotels for places that I've been visiting or I've been researching, or it will show me food for like the restaurants that I've been looking at or whatever. So usually they're like paid directed marketing is actually pretty good, but for some reason they just really want me to buy this underwear. And the problem is I keep clicking on it to try and close it, and then it opens the tab, so then it thinks I'm interested, and it shows it me even more. So if you're a client and you're watching this and you see that advert pop up when I'm doing your feedback, it is not a reflection of my purchase history or my browsing history, and this is not me cleaning my conscience either. Anyway, that was a beautiful walk up the castle, so I'm going to stop talking into a device and I'm going to enjoy it for a bit and have a coffee and take in the vibes of Kalamata, probably eat some more olives. So good. So good. Okay, those olives were quite easily some of the best olives I've ever had, if not the best olives I've ever had. Unbelievable. Like, you might think it's just an olive, but olives are actually one of my favourite foods, and they're super good for you as well. So as a nutritionist, they're also one of my favourite foods. Really, really healthy food source. So yeah, I'm glad I've ticked that off the bucket list because they were damn good. Good morning. Day 3 in Kalamata. I can't remember what the last clip that I recorded yesterday was. Was it eating the olives? I think it's probably eating the olives, wasn't it? After that, I went and trained, and then I had some chicken souvlaki, and I got an early night. And I woke up this morning nice and early, ready to go for a run, and it was absolutely hammering it down with a thunderstorm. So just sat in bed, had a bit of a lazy morning, done some work, read a chapter of my book. I'm currently rereading Everything is Fucked. Is that what it's called? Yeah. By Mark Manson. His second less famous book, the blue one. Yeah, good book. But it's now, I think, cleared up enough for me to go for a run. It says it's going to be a couple of showers. But the problem is I've set myself a goal this year to do a weekly 5K. And I keep doing it on a Sunday, which is a bit problematic because if it's pissing it down with rain on a Sunday, I need to get it done because it's a goal that I've got. And I've started off well. I did a 24 minutes and 20 seconds was my 5K PB, which I actually did last weekend. And I'm enjoying it. It's actually quite a nice feeling. However, yeah, on a day like today where it's grey and miserable, but I've got no choice. I need to go get it done now because I need to check out this Airbnb at 11 because I'm going back to Athens today. I'm going to sit in a cafe, do a bit of work, walk around the old town, probably have one last meal with some more olives, and then get the bus back to Athens and get ready for the new working week. So I will not see you when I'm out for a run because I'm not taking this expensive gadget out in the rain, but I will show you my new snazzy running shoes. Very subtle, not very bright at all. And I think these have given me a good placebo with the times that I've been clocking in. So, all right, I'm gonna have some caffeine and then I'm gonna have my pre-run fluids, which is electrolytes, creatine, and some pre-workout, like non-stim stuff that's good for blood flow because it supports vasodilation, which when you're going out for a run makes sense. So I actually use a bit of my pre-workout before going for a run as well. So yeah, all right. Gonna get warmed up, get ready and go and enjoy a nice run. And I'll put a screenshot of my Strava time when I'm out later so you can see what I've done and to keep me accountable to make sure I didn't chicken out because it was raining. All right, catch you in a bit. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Kalamata vlog. I'm actually rounding it off a week later because when I got back on Sunday, I was pretty knackered. So this video is actually the following weekend. But what a place, really enjoyed it. But I realized I didn't actually talk you through kind of like two things that I said I was gonna talk you through. My Whoop band and my goals for 2026. So I'll start with the Whoop band because that'll be quite short. It's been great so far. So I've had Aura rings, I've had Fitbits. I've never had an Apple Watch and I know that does a lot of these things as well. But the Whoop is definitely the best that I've had in terms of, I think it's a little bit more geared towards performance and it's a little bit more tailorable. I mean, I haven't had an Aura ring for 2 years now, so maybe they've advanced their platform a little bit more as well. But no, I really like it. And what was really annoying me with the Aura ring was that obviously it's a ring. So when I was training and doing like heavy deadlifts and stuff, I was taking it off. And then obviously you're not getting training data. Whereas this, I can just wear it all the time. Like it's really comfortable. I forget I'm wearing it a lot of the time. It's a little bit annoying it doesn't have like a time on it because I keep going like that to look at the time and it's got nothing on it. It's just a strap. But it's been really good in terms of the data it's given me. Like it's really, you know, HRV, sleep, all that sort of stuff. And I just find it keeps me a little bit more mindful. If I've got a little AI thing in my pocket telling me that I'm not getting to bed on time and my recovery's going downhill and stuff like that, I'm quite mindful of that sort of thing. So obviously it supports my training, it supports my performance, it supports my work, and it keeps my immune system strong as well. So I do like to get those numbers, and I find that it gives me a nudge to sort things out if I'm letting it slip. So that's the Whoop band. So far, so good. Goals. So did 2 photo shoots in 2025. First one was in June, second one was in November before I went to Asia. Happy with both of them. 2 very different shoots. One was a little bit more pansy in my Calvin Klein boxer shorts and posing in a studio. The other one was more, you know, in the gym, actually getting after a big training session, which was also fun. You know, I was doing prowler pushes and that sort of thing, dressing up as Santa, doing deadlifts. I would say, in actual fact, In the end, I was actually probably a little bit leaner for the first one, but I was stronger and fitter for the second one. So, you know, I was at a point where I was going into that second photo shoot, and I just ran my first ever 10K in sort of like 52 minutes. My 5K was getting towards the 25-minute mark. So I actually went into the second photo shoot probably feeling better than I did in the first one, even though I wasn't quite as lean. To be honest, because I'm in a bit of a weird situation with my whole visa situation in Greece at the minute. So I was like, I don't really want to diet for a photo shoot. Obviously hamper my experience living in Greece, because I won't be, you know, having as much like food flexibility, let's say, and then not end up doing the photo shoot because I didn't know if I would go back because of the visa situation. So in the end, I just kind of like cruised at maintenance for most of the year after the second photo shoot. This year's goals. So at the minute, I'm in what I would call more of a performance and strength phase. So I'm training hard at the minute, hitting some really good numbers in the gym. Again, I'm doing a weekly 5K on a Sunday. There's a lot of noise in the background because I've got 8 weeks of dealing with the Greek council digging up the road outside my apartment, which is really annoying when you're inside all day trying to work. And because they're digging it up, there's just people beeping at them left, right and centre. So that's what you can hear in the background. The show must go on with the content though, so I can't stop. This year, so at the minute, it's just so off-putting. I'm in a performance and strength focus phase. In about a month, less than that now, in a couple of weeks, I'm starting with a new coach, because the current coach that I'm working with has been helping me with my business and physique for the last few years. And he is soon actually retiring from doing the mentoring. So I want to, because I do get a lot of value from him with like business direction and that sort of thing. So I want to go all in on that with him. So I've actually signed up with a new coach, which is giving me a little bit of a fresh start with kind of things. And it's going to get a fresh, you know, perspective and a fresh set of eyes. Like obviously I massively value coaching. So I have my own coaches, and even though, you know, he's not necessarily going to be teaching me anything about training and nutrition, it's always good to get different analogies and different ways of explaining things and different perspectives on like whether you should push forward, whether you should pull back. Like I'm not very good at doing that for myself. Like I'm pretty good at it for clients, I'd like to think, but when it comes to myself, I'm not very good at knowing whether I need to go harder or pull back, and I get a lot of like noise in my head about it. So I just like to have someone just tell me what to do, to be honest. I give them the data, I give them the feedback on how I'm feeling, they give me the plan of action, I execute it. They've got a group photo shoot at the end of November, and I'm also thinking of spending 6 weeks at the end of the year in Southeast Asia and kind of traveling around and spending Christmas and New Year out there. So I'm thinking of probably lining up a couple of photo shoots at the back end of the year. I've maintained pretty damn well from where I got to at the end of last year. I'm like I said on the vlog, like a kilo up or something now. So I'm in that sort of position where if I was to start a shoot prep later in the year, I'd be in a great place to actually start it. Whereas last year, I started the shoot preps pretty fat, let's be honest, because I let things go a little bit too much. I wasn't in great shape. You know, I ended up losing like 12 kilos last year, and I still was a little bit soft going into the shoots. Obviously, I'm not saying I was in bad shape, but like in comparison to where I wanted to get to, I was probably still a little bit softer. Whereas now, if I can hold this position, I'm in a great spot to start a shoot prep. So I think what I'm going to probably do in about 2 weeks is have a little bit of a cut before summer, because I've got a birthday trip to Romania in March, so that's probably going to be a maintenance week with my friends. And then after that, I'll probably have a good push with getting a bit leaner for summer, and then hold that for a couple of months over summer, and then go again. So I'll be basically aiming to start a shoot prep probably in August, September, and I'll be starting it from the same place that I was in for the last shoots. So I'll have like another 12, 16 week runway of dieting, whilst also in a great spot to start it. So then, end of the year, I should be, again, in my best ever shape. And I think that's what I want to say with this. Like, I only just compare myself to myself now. Like, I used to be really bad at comparing myself to others in the industry. And obviously, I'm surrounded by a lot of people that take steroids and, you know, all that sort of stuff. It goes on, you know, behind the scenes. I don't. As you can probably tell, I'd be a lot bigger. But I've just got good at comparing myself to myself and just being like, as long as every year I'm getting a bit better with my fitness, with my physique, with my training, with my coaching, with my business, like I'm happy. I'm not chasing anything other than just improving each year, and it seems to be leading me down a really healthy path in terms of like my mindset and my outcomes and my results with things as well. I'm not cutting corners or trying to do things too aggressively or whatever. I'm just interested in getting better year on year. Seems like a good way to go about things. So time to get better in 2025. I've not actually come into the year with any last year I had a bit of a structured roadmap and stuff, and this year I'm just focusing on the process, making content, putting out my podcast, putting out Instagram, content, trying to make it better, focusing on my coaching, making sure everyone's got the best service from me. I'm investing a little bit into developing my skills a little bit more in like the mindset and the psychology and the habits and behavior change a little bit more this year. So I've actually just started a course, which was quite a bit of money, but it started really well, and I think it's going to be really, really useful for me with coaching. So I'm just having a year, I think, this year where I'm just going to focus on the process goals, and the outcomes will take care of themselves. Like if I'm showing up daily and doing the things that I need to do to get better with training, physique, coaching, recovery, there are other things in life that I should probably put a little bit more effort into, like dating and relationships, but just it's hard to focus on it all at once. And I'm quite enjoying the ride of just building things at the minute and improving and being a better version of me. I know it's cheesy to say it, but that is where I'm at the minute. So onwards and upwards. I'll stop waffling. Thank you for coming back to watch. If you've made it this far, you're a legend. Put a comment and say, made it. Always like to know who's watching. And yeah, the YouTube is now back up and running. So I'm not going to commit to a cadence, to be honest, because YouTube is obviously a lot more of a time investment, and I am busy at the minute with coaching and all the other things that I'm spinning. But I will be putting out content monthly for sure. And I've set up a nice little a nice little corner of my flat with a nice background and some lights and some books, the camera, that sort of thing. So I do want to start doing more like just talking head style stuff, 5 tips for this, 10 tips for this, and continue with these vlogs as well. So subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. Check out the podcast if you want to. It's In Shape Radio on Apple and Amazon and Spotify. And then I'm on Instagram as well, @InShapeWithRyan. And my email is ryan@inshapenutrition.co.uk if you want to get in touch with me directly. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.